Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Beer Garden, where we are going to be covering Sha Tin for tomorrow, which is our Friday. Everywhere else, well, Hong Kong and Japan and everywhere else, Saturday. So we have a special Friday Saturday meeting, and yeah, we just had the all weather meeting, and we were able to land. Sorry, Charene, three of us were able to land Apache Pass that day. So pretty decent day on the Beer Garden. So we're just going to talk real quick, and I'll start with you, Sarah. What did you enjoy? Did you rather watch the all-weather meeting, or would you rather see Happy Valley? The Sha Tin all-weather meeting or a Happy Valley turf meeting on the city circuit?
Well, it's a little bit hard. The all weather meetings are a lot of fun because I think there's just they're tough. They're really tough to handicap, and it always just seems like it's kind of a random of whoever wins. You almost throw darts at the program when handicapping it, and I feel like that's how it plays out. Happy Valley, just as a better, I have better luck at Happy Valley. So from that point of view, I prefer Happy Valley. But the all weather races are always just so fun to watch because you have a lot of horses that come in to try out the all weather track, either with no experience or maybe not even the greatest experience on the all weather tracks, with horses that are familiar with turf. So it is really fun to try to handicap those races, but it is very much a gamble.
And Steve, would you rather prefer watching the Happy Valley meeting or the all-weather Sha Tin meeting?
Well, it's a funny thing. I had a good beer garden actually on Wednesday because out of the five selections, I had three winners and a second and a third, which was good. But actually, prefer the I prefer the impossible sprints in the triple trio. To be honest, I do love the Happy Valley. You have 5, 6, and 7, and we normally have a 1200 meter race at 5 and 6, and a 1650 race 7, something like that. So I do like the 9 race card on the turf at Happy Valley, but it's also exciting to see how horses maybe transfer their turf form to dirt. So I think it's nice to see on occasions like last week.
And Charene, do you think that Happy Valley trying to find a winner at Happy Valley or the Sha Tin all-weather meeting, which one do you think is more difficult?
Yes, I think that the all-weather meeting at Sha Tin is much more difficult because we in Hong Kong are not that focusing on the all-weather races. So maybe when we study the all-weather cards, there are less information, less statistic, or less forms to study. So it is much more difficult. However, when we can enter the Sha Tin race course at the nighttime, the atmosphere is just fantastic. So it has some advantage, but some disadvantage. But generally speaking, I enjoy the Happy Valley meeting more.
Yeah, I prefer the Happy. I mean, sometimes the Happy Valley meeting does have like some kind of weird result, but normally, I mean, that's racing. That's going to be everywhere. But I think it happens more in probably the all weather than it does the Happy Valley. So, all right, we'll get into our selections now. We're going to be covering races 4, 6, and then a best bet. So, race number 4, we're going to start is a 1200-meter class 4 race, and that is the Erica Handicap 1200 meters. There is a field of 12 for this one. And Sarah, who we have for this race?
I'm taking one of the debutantes. I'm going with 4 Dream Boss here. It's jumping out of barrier 7 with Muraro aboard. It seems like he's been really, each time with his barrier trials, he gets a little bit better, a little bit better. My only concern would be his speed, as he's not the slowest, obviously, but he needs a bit more speed, I feel like, to really show a great showing here at this distance. But I also feel like this horse would prefer to be stretched out, but I get why starting him at the 1200-meter mark. But really, I feel like he should make a really nice debut. He just seems like his form and his footing, he's becoming and developing into quite the equine athlete here. And I think with Muraro aboard, who has ridden him in a barrier trial before, to get to know this horse, see how he runs, see how he takes to the track. So I have faith in Muraro getting Dream Boss across the finish line first.
Yeah, in his recent trials at Chung Fa, we have wasn't far off, like a length and 2 lengths, and also you have a deadly combination with Joe Moreira and Casper Founds. That's usually a really great jockey trainer combination. So, Steve, who do we have for this race?
Sarah's pretty much said it for me. I also like in race 4, number 4, Dream Boss, drawn 7. Casper Founds trains Joe Murado riding. And he has shown ability in the trials. It's one of 3 newcomers in the race. I think hopefully he's the best of the newcomers. And there really isn't, it doesn't look the strongest of races either. The last time winner, Dragon Kingdom, not sure just what he beat. There's no guarantee he can follow that up as well. And the likes of Strive for Glory, well, that's habitually a slow starter. So no matter how slow Dream Boss is, I'd imagine he won't be last out the stalls. That'll be Strive for Glory's speciality. So yes, I mean, I think all the horses that have raced are vulnerable to a reasonably smart newcomer, and hopefully Dream Boss can fit that criteria and win first up.
Yeah, it goes. So Steve goes also with Dream Boss, and there's also the 3 unraced ones. There's also Holly Charm, and then Wide Blue Yonder. And Charene, are you going with the unraced runner, or are you going somewhere else?
Yes, I will take my bets on number 2, Murado. He already have some racing experience, and he broke his maiden last year in June. However, he suffers from some setback at the beginning of this season. So he made his seasonal return on mid-February. And then after 2 warm-ups, I think that he's now ready for winning, because this time he will be also adding the blinkers. And as shown on his recent barrier trial on April 26th, he added the blinkers, and then he did run quite well. And hopefully this time, I think that the blinkers would be helpful for him. So I will give my take on number 2, Murado.
Yeah, Murado's coming up fresh, drawn barrier 5 with Ruin Maya. Yeah, I mean, he's on the top of the ratings, rated 58 as opposed to everybody else. Well, the second highest rated in between is Gracie Love and also Majestic Knight. I went for number 11. Dragon Kingdom is what Steve mentioned with Karastine. I mean, that win by 2 lengths was enough for him to come up in class and get into the 51 kilos drawn into the race now. So I think that win was pretty good. I think he could go back to back. He's drawn number 2, which is ideal for a 1200 meter race at Sha Tin. So I think he could do it again. His win was pretty impressive. I mean, it wasn't against the best of fields, so he's going to face obviously a little bit tougher and some unraced runners. So to recap, we have Steve and Sarah go for number 4, Dream Boss. Charene goes for number 2, Murado, and then I go for number 11, Dragon Kingdom. And now we're going to go on to race number 6, which is another Erica handicap. I'm just making sure I see this right. Yeah, another Erica handicap, 1200 meters again. And we have a field of 12 again. So, Sarah, who do we have?
I'm going to take the 4 California Vans. But this horse, we've put in a board jumping out of barrier 9. I feel like this horse has finally found his footing. The last 2 races out really seemed to have taken to the Sha Tin track. And, you know, with the 2 races ago, they had an equipment change where they took off the blinkers and off the cheek pieces. And it seemed like this horse that really made a difference with how this horse ran and how this horse positioned himself within the race here. You know, he likes to sit towards the lead, if not on the lead. And I think that when he does that, he seemed to have really focused and seemed to have really understood what he needed to do as a horse in this race. So see him coming back to try this out again at 1200 meters. I think we're really going to see even more improvement out of him, especially with Pert aboard. You know, he's ridden him last time out where he got a 2nd placing there. So I think we're going to see a really nice combination with Pert and California here. So I think he's just going to put on a great performance. He's consistent and he's just improving. So we're going to see some more improvement this time out again.
Yeah. California Veins with Zach Purton. Again, not far off of the last 2 races. August Moon was actually a pretty good horse in the one. So I think that the little bit of form behind that, especially with Zach Purton again getting the ride, is pretty decent. Going up a little bit in the rating and draw number 9, but you know, obviously, if horses like that could overcome the draw, then they'll be okay. So, Steve, who do we have in this race?
Oh, I was very near to picking the same as Sarah again because I kind of like California Veins, but I ended up going for the number 1 horse, top weight, Enchanting Ibis. Trained by the Millards and ridden again by Antoine Hamlin. Ran really nicely from gate 11 last time. and came, widest of all, challenge widest, and ran on really well. Antoine Hamlin looked very pleased with the horse when it won, and went up £8 for that to a mark of 60. But could still be capable of more, and he's slightly better drawn this time in 8. So I'll go for Enchanting Ibis. I think California Veins is interesting. Maybe a horse that doesn't like to be on at the front too often, or too much daylight at the front. And of course, the last time Super Axiom went off like a scalded cat, like he always does, but it never lasts home. So down the straight, basically, as I think the commentator said, Super Axiom folded like a cheap suit, and it left California Veins in front, and probably didn't do a great deal in front. So probably drawn 9's not a bad place for him to be. He can get covered up behind some horses and come late. But for me, yeah, hopefully Enchanting Ibis can defy his £8 rise.
Did you pick that because you're outside and there might be some enchanting ibises around?
How did you guess, Joe?
So enchanting, well, ibis, if you guys don't know, is a bird. So I hear a lot of birds where he is. Yeah, Enchanting Ibis seemed to have turned a corner after the spell, or after being freshened after 35 days, because he had a really good trial. Had a win after a 10th place finish up the straight at Sha Tin on the 1,000 meters, and then getting a third in a field of 5 of the barrier trial, but not too far off. So certainly the class of the race. And Charene, who do we have?
Yeah, in race 6, I'm with Sara. I also like number 4, California Veins, because I just checked his track work performance recently. He is quite strong and big in size. However, I remember that at his Hong Kong debut before, he is quite fat at that time, actually. However, now, although he gained some weight, he is becoming more muscular. So I believe that he is progressing quite well after 4 starts in Hong Kong. And also, Sara just mentioned that after putting on the blinkers, he is now more focused on racing. And last time I was just beaten by August Moon, just like you said, Joe. And I believe that it was quite a solid second. And this time the field is not that strong, and hopefully he can also take the advantage of the good speed. And then I believe he can stay in the front, and hopefully he can keep till the end. So number 4, California Veins for me.
All right, so Charene and Sara see eye to eye with California Veins. Number 4 with Zach Burton and Tony Cruz. I went for number 6 to Infinity, an unraced runner. I know he has drawn 11 in the 1,200 meters, but if you look at his barrier trials, there's been a lot of seconds, but not too far off, like about a point length, 3 point lengths, and then 2 lengths. And then after that, so he's pretty much progressing, but he's coming now to Sha Tin to try to get climatized. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a winning run at first. I think you could probably put it in the placings, because I'm not too confident on the draw, but Ruin Maya seems to have some kind of affinity to Infinity as far as unraced runners making their debut. We saw with, I think Common Room was one of them, where he almost won at 100-1. So, all right, so we're gonna recap here. Charene and Sara goes for number 4, California Veins. Steve goes for number 1, Enchanting Ibis, and then I go for number 6, To Infinity. So now we go on to our favorite part of the show, which is our best bets. We have a lot to choose from. It is a 10 race card. And Sara, who is your best bet?
Well, I kind of struggle because there's a lot of really great horses on this card, and I did go back and forth between a couple, but I'm sticking with Red Brick Fighter in race 9. He's the 12. Race 9 is the class 4 over 1,400 meters. I did take him last time as my best bet as well, which worked out very well for me, as he won that race by 2.5 lengths. He really surprised, I think, everybody in his last race, really showing great form, really showing his improvement, how he is as a horse. And I think just after that, can he do this again? It's a big question mark. Can he get back-to-back wins here? I'm hoping so, but he gets a very favorable draw, should really sit towards the lead. And, of course, we got Pertenstein in the irons on him. So he really knows how to maneuver this horse and really drive him home. So my fingers are crossed. We're going to get that back-to-back win here with the 12 Red Brick Fighter in race 9.
Yeah, Red Brick Fighter, an old favorite that's been racing since 2019 in Hong Kong. So, we've seen that name pop up a whole bunch of times, probably a bunch of times on the Beer Garden as well. But yeah, that win last time out was pretty impressive. We weren't expecting that. But beaten Amazing News by 2.5 lengths. Pretty good. Pretty good. Steve, who do we have as your best bet?
I'll try and say this above the noise of the blackbird. Sorry about that. There's only one. There's only one bird doing all this. There's loads of birds. There's only one making a noise, which is very frustrating. I went to race number 3, and that's number 3. I'm a Single Man. Zach Purton on board, drawn in gate 1, and a really nice horse. 4 from 23 starts, 4 wins, and was in good form earlier on this season over the 1400 meters, and then he's basically turned up at all the big gigs, hasn't he? The Classic Mile, the Cup, and the Derby. His stamina being stretched out each time. Well, last time he was back to the 1400, and he was a very good third to Silver Express. That one runs again. Hopefully, though, with Zach Purton aboard for only the second time, I'm a Single Man can turn the tables on Silver Express from gate 1 as well, an ideal draw. So for me, race 3, number 3, I'm a Single Man.
Yeah, and I'm a Single Man gets Zach Purton this time. So draw number 1 could turn the tables as far as the barriers go. And race number 3, and I picked I'm a Single Man to win the I think it was the mile. So yeah, still have the heart for I'm a Single Man. And Charene had the guest that was on to preview one of the races. That was his horse,
yes.
right?
Yes, that's Ian.
Ian.
Yes, he's the bloodstock agent of I'm a Single Man.
Yeah, so we're going to be here to cheer Ian on. And Charene, who is your best bet?
My best bet on Saturday will be Run Cool number 2 in race 7. I know that Sarah likes him as well, and I'm also like him very much because I would say he is a course and distance expert, especially for this kind of horse, quite very big in size, is very, very suitable for racing over the straight course. So in his last 2 starts, we see that he just winning easily by at least 2.5 lengths. So this time still racing in class 3, I think that he is quite competitive here. As I just mentioned, he is quite big in size, so maybe the top weights will not be a concern for him. We see that Zach Purton will be riding him again, so I believe that in class 3 he is still able to win. So I will be looking forward to Run Cool number 2 in race 7.
Run Cool is going for the hat trick after 2 races up the straight at the 1,000 meters and destroyed them both times. About 5 lengths to Good News in the penultimate race, and then the last race to 2.5. So, well, we're looking forward to that. We got a straight race here, and I didn't realize that we do have that. So that's going to be always a lot of fun watching the straight races. So I'm going to go to my best bet, which is in race number 10. We went for this before. I know Steve has, so it cost us a bit of money, but now we're going to see if he'll finally show up. And that is race number 10, 1,400 meters, and that is the Anomaly with Matthew Chadwick. I think he's getting there. He's finally progressing. When we picked him, he's gone either 5th, 7th, 4th. He finally got a 2nd. So now I think he is improving in this class 3. But you have a lot of harder horses to face. So he has like co-partner Ambition, the Hulk, Horseane Bolt. So yeah, I think he's gonna finally show up. He does have the draw. He doesn't have a lot of weight on his back this time, 53 kilos, and he's draw number 4, so 1,400 meters. And the lucky last, we're gonna try to go for the Anomaly. Hopefully, you get a decent value price as well. So all right, so we're gonna go review our best bets, which is race number 9 for Sarah, and that is 12 Red Brick Fighter. Steve is number 3, race number 3. I'm a Single Man. Race number 7 is Charene. Number 2, Run Cool. And then I go for race number 10, 9, The Anomaly. So thank you for watching our preview of Sha Tin for this weekend. Hopefully we were able to find you some winners, especially since we do have a 10 race program, covered about almost more than half the races. So be sure to check out next week where we have Happy Valley again. So until next time, appreciate your time and see you later.